Information technology is not a science meant for rocket scientists. It's a science meant for the average person, and it empowers him to change his life, his career, his potentials, and the respect he gets from society. Welcome to your multi-award-winning tech show on television with Don Pedro Agambi. Today, we have all our regular segments featuring. Stay with us.
From Nigeria receives the first prize in the TechTVng category for his program, ICT Africa. Congratulations, Don Pedro.
ICT Reporter of the Year, Electronic, Don Pedro Agambi.
Today, digitization is life. So every sector you see running, no matter how slow or how fast it is running because of digitization.
One thing I think that we can do and should do is move our education from a theoretical perspective to a skill-based perspective.
In case you've just joined us, it's Africa's numero uno tech show on television. I'm Don Pedro Agambi. When we come back from this quick break, you'll meet our tech personality of the week. Tech personality of the week is the Chief Executive Officer of TranterIT and IoT Africa, Mr. Lare Ayoola. Watch this.
Emmanuel Lare Ayoola for setting the stage for Internet of Things IoT revolution in West Africa with the attendant job creation and entrepreneurial opportunities. A successful entrepreneur, over 40 years experience, Ayoola continues to demonstrate unwavering commitment to promoting IT businesses and a keen passion for the economic empowerment of Nigerians by their participation in the new technological revolution.
Welcome to the program, Mr. Ayoola.
Thank you.
My first question to you would be for you to assess IT in this era of COVID.
Well, one of the things, many years ago, IT tried its best to penetrate Nigerian industry, providing services, and it was quite difficult. Today, IT has come a long way, and but some people were still not convinced that IT was important. And what COVID-19 did was to bring to the fore all the attributes of IT. So we learned you need IT to communicate. We won't always be able to get around and drive from one person's office to the other, or even from one person's house or from your house to the university. And when communication by road is not doesn't work or is not allowed, then you need to communicate. So what do we learn? We learn that we need IT, we need IT hardware, we need IT infrastructure, such as internet services. We need content to be able to communicate and enable different things such as education, online meetings, and so on. And of course, we need power. So, but we also learned one thing from COVID, that the penetration of IT in Nigeria is still not sufficient. We found out that we couldn't exactly ask children to go online when they didn't have a laptop or a tablet, and that only the more affluent families could afford to provide their children with laptops or tablets or desktops in order for them to participate in online learning. We also found out that online learning was really not available, and that we don't have teachers who know how to deliver online learning. We found out also that many people didn't know how to conduct themselves in online meetings, because they, engaged in online meetings only when COVID came. But one of the things that I found out is that all the driving that we do in Nigeria, moving from one office to the other, just to attend the meeting is totally unnecessary. So we're consuming huge quantities of petrol and diesel to move up and down when IT could serve the purpose. We've learned that we can be a lot more efficient. We've learned that we don't have to, that we need to invest in the right type of infrastructure and the right type of tools. Because if another COVID comes, what are we going to do? The economy need not shut down at all. All that should happen is people go into their homes and business continues, and only the drivers who are driving trucks to deliver goods need to be out there. And we can get over the pandemic, in any future pandemic, in 6 to 12 weeks maximum. So we learned that IT is extremely important for the nation.
Tell us a bit about your company, TranterIT, and its mission to the nation's economy.
Well, we've always, TranterIT Infrastructure Services Limited has always wanted to contribute meaningfully. And I know that every managing director, every CEO will say the same thing. But in our case, we've always wanted to contribute by creating jobs. We've always wanted to contribute by making companies more efficient, more cost-effective, and more productive. And we focused our attention on that. So I feel that what we would like to contribute to the economy is employment, efficiency, higher productivity. So how do we do that? We currently have about 340 people working for us, of which over 280 are engineers. 95% of them came in as university graduates with no experience. We train them from scratch, and when I say from scratch, we train them into having relevant skills to perform well in the IT industry as part of an IT solutions company, an IT services company, which TranterIT is. Employment is key. Training is key to contributing meaningfully to the economy. So we must always focus on human capital development, and that's really something that we've done a lot of. We've trained thousands of engineers. There's hardly a business in Nigeria where you would not have one of our alumni, I can call it. We're not a university, we're not a school, but there's hardly a business where you will not have one of my ex-staff working at some senior level in the IT department within that organization. So we've contributed meaningfully in that respect. Many companies are reluctant to train and to develop their personnel. We are not. We expect that companies would eventually take some of our staff. Okay. We know that. We know the statistics. How many will leave after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years? We already know, but we're constantly providing a pipeline of people coming in, being trained, and prepared to take over from the people who are leaving. We don't want them to leave, but ultimately they will leave. So the economy is one that requires a collective and concerted effort by all the companies to take us to that position that we should be. We should be one of the countries in the world where the contribution of ICT to the GDP of the country should be higher than any other country in the world. Now, some would say, wow, isn't that an ambitious objective? Well, we have the most intelligent people in the world. We have the most industrious people in the world. We excel everywhere in the world that we go. We excel in Nigeria in spite of all the infrastructural deficiencies. We survive against the forecast of every analyst in the world. We've shown that we're highly resilient. So all that's required is a little push, a little bit of encouragement. And of course, there are many entrepreneurs, as you know, who are self-motivated and self-encouraged and resilient and so on and so forth, and have achieved great things in spite of the infrastructural deficiencies and the issues with education in the country, which is not as good as when I went to school. When I went to school and I went to the UK eventually, I was far ahead of the British people, you know, coming from Nigeria in the 70s. I mean, I had a double promotion immediately because I was at a much higher level than my age mates. That was the level of education in Nigeria at that time. So of course it can be done again. It just requires a decision to be the best in IT and in education and in infrastructure. And I think there's nothing that we can't do as Nigerians.
So how has TranterIT helped to revolutionize the nation's economy and of course the tech ecosystem?
TranterIT has invested and is investing in IoT, in the Internet of Things, in industrial IoT, which is the industrial Internet of Things. And there's a slight difference between the two, but they're more or less the same thing. And what does that do? That allows us to have complete visibility of all our assets. And that's going to revolutionize the agricultural industry, the oil and gas industry, upstream, midstream, and downstream. It's going to revolutionize logistics, the supply chain management, shipping, courier services, cold storage, or the cold storage and the supply chain associated with that. So we're going to use the Internet of Things. What is the Internet of Things? It's measuring what the parameters that you want to measure at your object, which could be an oil well, it could be a fridge, it could be a house, it could be it could be your car, your truck, your filling station. Take that measurement, send it over the internet to be seen at a control center, command center, or your laptop or your phone, and tell you what's going on real time. Right now, most companies don't have real-time access to data, so they are deficient in some way in their decision-making because their decision-making is based on old data. But with the Internet of Things, that can be shortened. For example, a farmer that has a very large farm, if he wants to know the moisture level in his different fields, he would have to go physically or send somebody physically to check. With IoT or smart agriculture, we can put sensors in the ground. Every kilometer or every 100 meters, it depends on how much data he wants, and he'll be able to sit in his office and know which field requires water, which field requires the pH level to change. It can even determine which field is being attacked by insects from the comfort of his office or his home. So that's revolutionary. It allows you to do a lot more with less money, with less people. Some would argue, why do you want to reduce the number of people? Well, the problem is there are many jobs that will come even as a result of IoT, because now somebody has to install the devices, somebody has to monitor the data, somebody has to learn how to design new devices to meet the needs of our local manufacturing industry or our local different sectors, whether it's agriculture or oil or logistics or security or safety. Smart cities, smart homes, smart offices, IoT enables that. So we're involved in that. But going back to the beginning, when we first started, I remember trying to convince a bank that they should adopt email, an email system. And they were worried that their staff would spend all their time sending personal emails. So they were reluctant to provide their staff with emails. But we kept on. At that time, we became the first Microsoft Gold certified partner in Black Africa, in Sub-Saharan Africa. And we were able to penetrate the banking industry. Today, email is a standard means of communication in the banking industry as well as virtually every other industry. Outsourcing. When we started outsourcing, nobody was doing outsourcing. So we were one of the pioneers for technology services outsourcing. At the time, we called it more of IT support. Today we do IT support, digital banking support, we support insurance applications, we support core banking applications. We are now supporting in IoT solutions and platforms. We do application support. We even provide a lot of support for proprietary applications, even in the banking, even in the manufacturing sector. So we've gone diverse. So we used to call ourselves an IT support company, but we're not. We are a technology services and support company, providing solutions that enhance businesses. And that's what we focus on. We focus on making sure that after engaging us, we put more money in our clients' pockets, either by saving them money, by increasing their productivity, or by just making their customers love them more.
Are there some achievements you may want to share with us?
Oh, wow. I think one of the greatest things that anybody can do is to provide another individual with a means of earning a living. So every job I create, every job we in TranterIT create is a great success to us. And every job we can keep viable for 5, 10, 20 years is, again, another celebration. So one of our key achievements has been to create a lot of opportunity, a lot of employment. Like I said, we have about 340 people working for TranterIT. We expect that to at least double by this same time next year, especially because of the IoT. Take, for example, TranterIT as the managed engine partner for Nigeria, an exclusive partner for Nigeria. We have recruited, partnered with 60 Nigerian companies who now resell our software solutions, which is IT automation and enhanced IT operations. So we've created opportunity for them. Not only have we signed them up, but we provide training on technology, training on how to market the product, training on how to market their services, training on how to sell, provide support, do deployment. So we are creating tremendous value in the market in that way. On the IoT side, with our company called our subsidiary called IoT Africa Networks Limited, which is the exclusive Sigfox operator for Nigeria, we will be training thousands and thousands of engineers and technicians on IoT. We did a recent survey, and IoT is the thing in ICT today. Everything will be controlled, everything will have, IoT will be involved in every facet of every business and everybody's life over the next 5 to 10 years and beyond. And we did a survey, and we found out that amongst IT people, only 20% have heard the name IoT, and probably only 5% knew really what IoT did. And this is cutting edge technology. So we will be contributing to this nation a major, how can I put it, portion towards developing the Internet of Things in Nigeria. And by doing so, put Nigeria on the map. I'll give you an example. IoT in the oil industry saved Shell in 1 year, in the first year when they installed it, $5 billion. That was their saving. That was the value of what they added. They saved, other oil companies have saved as much as 25% on their operating costs. Reduced cost of project management by 8%. So tremendous savings are coming in. And in virtually every industry, we know that every company needs to become more cost efficient. Competition is increasing, and they just have to step up step up their game in order to make sure that they can continue to grow and continue to create employment. So I think in terms of what have we contributed, quite a lot. Over the last 16 years that TranterIT has been in existence, and previously TranterIT was part of the Tranter organization that is 30 years old. So we're not a young group.
Mr. Ayoola, how viable and how critical has IT been to the development of the Nigerian economy?
The IT sector, let me start from this angle. Without the IT sector, we will not be able to compete in the modern world. So the IT sector has been critical. The growth of the IT sector in Nigeria has been critical to Nigeria's economic success and economic viability. Take, for example, banking. But I remember the old days where you go to the bank and it will take you 4 hours to cash any small amount or any large amount of money. And sometimes you go at 8 o'clock and you leave there at 4:30 because they have to find your file. Then they have to check your ledger. Then they're worried whether you had drawn money at another branch and you hadn't come. Or if you didn't go to your own branch, you had to wait for them to phone your branch to find out what your balance was. Today, with IT, it's instantaneous. You literally pick up your phone and you log on, and I can send you as much money as the bank allows me to send you. So IT has enabled communication. It has enabled better security in the bank. It has enabled the customers to have a better experience, a better banking experience. It is enabling the speed at which a bank can approve a loan for you. Now you can get an approval in 30 minutes, in 15 minutes, in 10 minutes in some cases, maybe even shorter, who knows. Abroad it's shorter. Within 5 minutes you get an answer. In Nigeria, okay, maybe it might take 15 minutes, but I mean, it's better than 4 weeks when you had to wait for a manager to come back from leave. Now, irrespective of where the manager is, he can receive his messages and he can do the approval. Even that's if he's even involved in the process. And that's what IT is doing. IT is moving into the era of artificial intelligence, where the computer can make better decisions than any manager could have made on lending or on any or most things relating to your bank account and how it's operated and how it and the requests that you make. Talk about GSM. We all had the GSM phone. I remember the time when you had to pick up your big phone and you had to wait 5 minutes before you got a dialing tone. And when you got a dialing tone and you dialed, you had a 1 in 10 chance of getting through to the person you were calling. And tomorrow morning, you wake up and that phone's not working. Why? Because somebody by mistake cut the wire. Now we have GSM phones. So people say the telecoms industry is very proud of what has been achieved with GSM. But I can tell you one thing. Without IT, without information technology, the GSM companies will find it very difficult to operate. The billing systems sit on IT platforms and IT infrastructure. The security sits on IT infrastructure, or in fact is is part of the IT infrastructure. Storage of data and so on. Everything's in the cloud now. And everybody thinks it's in the cloud like it's in heaven. That's some automatic things going up there. It's in the cloud. The cloud is a bunch of IT sitting in data centers that is controlling all of this. The so-called cloud is, I would say, advanced IT infrastructure. Advanced storage systems, advanced backup systems that are all IT enabled. So IT is the backbone of every economy today. Look at the stock exchanges: the New York Stock Exchange, the Tokyo Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Without IT, that couldn't happen. Today, you can pick up your phone and you can buy shares, sell shares. You can do all kinds of things online. And that's enabled by IT. So IT is here to stay. It's getting more advanced. IT companies will certainly have to adapt, because some basic things that used to be done by human beings are going to be done by artificial intelligence. So we have to upgrade our skills. We have to improve our skills. We can't be caught napping. And I mentioned that because, and this is a very important point, if we don't start taking manpower development in the IT sector, in IT skills, which are very broad, it ranges from programming, software development, security, artificial intelligence, IoT data analytics platforms, etc., IT infrastructure. If we don't build the manpower requirements of the modern world in Nigeria, the same way we did with Microsoft. When Microsoft came in 20 years ago, going back to 1998, Microsoft started becoming quite prominent. I mean, it took quite a number of years because of the piracy, anti-piracy, and all that. But a lot of effort was put in. A lot of Nigerians were going for Microsoft certification, and Microsoft education was taken very, very seriously. So if we don't take modern IT education very, very seriously, we're going to be left behind. And I'll tell you why. You see, with the advent of or the prevalence of the internet, internet connectivity, IT can be controlled and provided anywhere in the world once you have a device. I mean, take Netflix, for example. Netflix doesn't reside in Nigeria, but so many people are subscribing and watching films, and somebody abroad is getting all the money. But the fact of the matter, that's an example of a cloud solution that's supported by IT, and we have made possible by IT. All the engineers who are supporting that technology, guess where they are? Currently, they're not here in Nigeria. They're abroad. So Nigerians are buying a service and creating employment for people who are not resident in Nigeria, do not pay taxes in Nigeria, are not Nigerians in many cases, in fact in 99.9% of the cases. But we're buying that service as if we are not intelligent enough to provide that service here. So we need to look at the ease of doing business in Nigeria. You see, if I want to provide the Netflix service in Nigeria, the mountains are very tall. And this is something that is very, very serious. We are exporting our foreign currency when we don't need to. We should be importing foreign currency. We should have stations that are better than Netflix, delivering services around the world. Do you know that Nigerian movies are loved by virtually every nationality in the world? Everywhere I go, they're like, wow, I watch Nigerian movies all the time. We should be exporting that. How do we export that? Okay, are we going to sell the movie rights to Netflix to sell the service to us? Because we are too intelligent to do it. I don't want to be too sarcastic, but to cut a long story short, or to summarize, or to close, it's simply this. We have the most amazing opportunity in Nigeria to become a powerhouse of information technology services and information technology services based businesses like Netflix, like all these games and all these applications that we're buying, and we're paying $10 a month and $5 a month. I even buy one that's $1.99 a month for my storage, by the way. That's dollars leaving the country. We have companies like Rack Center. The managing director, Tunde Koka, is a friend of mine, doing a fantastic job, getting international awards. Why is data sitting outside the country? Why are we buying Netflix when we should be providing Nigerflix? But the most important thing is this: whether it's something to do with media, or something to do with banking applications, or different types of applications, application development, is doing very well. Nigerian developers are really stepping up their game. No doubt about it. The frequency of departures to Canada has slowed down. We lost a lot of our brains to Canada. Thank God, I think it has slowed down anyway. Because now when you give a Nigerian developer a job to do, he actually gets it done and doesn't disappear halfway through to Canada. I felt I was I suffered from that once. That's why it's something I remember very clearly. But at the end of the day, the IT industry contributes immensely to Nigeria. I think last year, the year before, was about 12 to 13% of the GDP. That's substantial. I reckon in the next year or two, especially with the advent of IoT and other technologies, artificial intelligence, and the massive growth of our software development industry in Nigeria, I wouldn't be surprised if we do about 33% within the next 2 to 5 years. There's absolutely no reason why Nigeria needs to depend on oil. And when I say Nigerians are the most intelligent in the world, I'm not joking. I went to school here, and I went to school abroad. I compared the two. You know what the British boys used to complain about concerning me? That how come they couldn't match my grades? And I remember once my electronic circuits design professor, because one of the degrees I studied was electronics, engineering and applied sciences. I majored in electronic engineering. He said to me, you know what? He noticed that Africans are good at giving instructions, or taking instructions, but not thinking. And I looked at this gentleman and I decided that the only way to defeat this guy is to prove him wrong. That year, out of 120 students, I came first in electronics. And he came to shake my hand and he said, he said, Larry, you proved me wrong. And he shook my hand. He said, you really showed all of us that what I said to you the other day in the tutorial was wrong. We are the smartest people in the world, the hardest working people in the world, the most industrious, the most resilient, the ones with the greatest stamina. We speak English. Nothing should stop us from becoming the best country in the world and the richest. And with just a little bit of help from the government, from other more successful private companies that can help the younger ones come up, I think we're not more than 10 years away from being classified in terms of being at least in the top 10 richest countries in the world. And that's what I think is absolutely possible.
I'm afraid, Mr. Ayoola, we may have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Wow, that was our tech personality of the week, Mr. Lare Ayoola, Chief Executive Officer of TranterIT in IoT Africa. And we do hope you found this week's edition quite useful and informative. For comments and observations, reach us on the numbers and email now showing on your screen. You can also see this on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production crew, thanks for watching. I'm Don Pedro Agambi, same time, same station. I'll be back next time. I'll see you.